Yeah, I'm fine, thanks, James.
Good. Also joined by Al Smith, aka the Fagan. Are you alright?
Good, James, how are you?
I'm good.
What do you mean, Dale, when you do that?
See, our gym is so poor we can't even afford a cleaner, so we have to do it ourselves.
More like you're too tight to pay a cleaner. That's more the story.
Too fat to pay a cleaner.
That's more the story there, man, like Fagan. Does he often get you to do this, Ed?
No, you don't ever do it.
No, I do offer, but he does it better than me. I'm terrible, I'm useless.
One of them ones, isn't it? Yeah. Quick little sweep
It's not my thing, no.
That'll make you right. Let's talk a little bit about boxing, huh? As you are a boxing coach.
What was the cleaner?
Talk to me a little bit about the boys in the gym, first and foremost.
Who do you want to know about?
Let's start with the man behind you, Ricky Boylan.
Oh, Rick, yeah. Well, he's obviously out in September, the 13th in a warm-up, and then I think he's got a big fight announced on October the 11th at the O2.
Vacated his Southern Area belt?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it wasn't that he was avoiding John Wayne Ibbott. We just thought it was it
wasn't my decision.
Okay.
If you heard that, Rick said it wasn't.
Listen, John Wayne Ibbott's a good kid. It was a tough fight, but for fighting for this, if you just think that your level is Southern Area, and I'm not saying John thinks that because he's a good kid, but for me, I think that Ricky can do better. And he's obviously got a bigger title coming, which was the right decision to move. He's a big ticket seller, and I think that, you know, don't get attached to a belt, move along.
Do you respect John Wayne Ibbott for giving Ricky the opportunity to fight for that and stepping out of the line, because he was kind of in line for that before Ricky?
Yeah, I mean, listen, you know, that's boxing. We did exactly the same with Adam Dingsdale for Floyd Moore, and that is, you know, you can't hold up a belt. And I think Rick giving it up, and secondly, he was injured anyway, so the fight wouldn't have gone ahead. And obviously John Wayne Ibbott's had bad luck as well, because he still didn't get to fight for it. These things happen in boxing. Yeah, exactly. So, but you know, he's got a big announcement to make, or his promoter has Eddie Hearn, and you know, they're going to announce a big fight for a bigger title. So we made the right decision.
Eddie, if I can bring you in, sir.
Yeah.
I want to talk a little bit about Adam Dingsdale, if that's all right.
Yeah.
Break down Adam Dingsdale for me.
Dingsdale. What can I say about Dingsdale? He's the funniest kid in the gym, but
he's unnaturally funny, isn't he?
Unnaturally funny, yeah. But a very good fighter as well. When he's in the ring, yeah, he's a very good fighter.
He's a game kid, isn't he?
Yeah, very game. It'd be a handful for anyone, I think, in the country.
Yeah, indeed. Obviously, got Johnny Gart on here.
Johnny Gart.
Just coming off the back of the prize fighter fight as well.
The Mexican,
Mexican back in action soon. What's going on with him?
Yeah, he's out in, is it October, Al?
October the 11th as well.
October 11th.
Is that confirmed?
Yeah, that's confirmed. He's obviously promoted by Steve Goodwin. You know, I didn't want him to go in it. The team didn't want him to go in it, but you know, he's a mature man. He's 26 years old. He wanted to go in it. I didn't think after spending 3-4 years with him, developing him into a 10-round fighter, that format would suit him.
He loves to tear up, though, doesn't
he?
Yeah,
exactly. And running into Sam Megan, who's a tough kid anyway, you know what I mean? And he'd already been in there and been beat a year or two previously. So he'd already, you know, been under them lights and got used to it. John's always been the small hall shows, which for me, you know, are just as good as the big shows. But John froze a little bit. He ran into Sam Megan and you know, it just wasn't his night. So he's got to rebuild himself, but John's tough enough not to let that distract him to where, you know, that his level is.
Am I right in thinking Johnny Garton's trained by you, promoted by Steve Goodwin, managed by Adam Booth? Is that right?
Yeah.
It's quite a strange setup, isn't it?
Yeah, we don't see Adam though.
Free mega.
He never comes here. He's too posh for us.
Have you been stealing his haircut?
No.
Do you and him have competitions?
No, Adam.
He has the best haircut.
Yeah.
I had a look at some of your old pictures from your youth. You weren't a bad-looking fellow when you was younger. What's going on?
It was a long time ago, though, wasn't it? Obviously, you know, someone robbed me of my looks in my sleep before.
Let's talk a little bit about Bradley Skeet, probably the most known boxer from the iBOX gym at the present time. What's going on with Skeet?
Yeah, I mean, Brad's you know, probably known for being probably the nicest kid in boxing throughout, and a lot of people have doubted his power. You know, he's never going to be a major puncher, but like Gary Walkham, who had 12 fights and only had 1 knockout. And I think Junior Witt, if you look on his record, probably had very similar, 12 fights, only 1 knockout. He's a late developer, he's timing, and we've probably held him back a little bit, you know, just thinking get the rounds under his belt, not taking the risk, you know, boxing his way to victories, which is a clever thing. He's 17-0, you know, and you can lose your record early on just from probably wanting to have too many hard fights. You know, he's promoted by Frank, who does an incredible job. His manager's Andy Ayling. He's got over the loss of Dean Powell.
Must have been a huge shock and a bit of a setback for him.
Yeah. You know, Dean Powell was a massive part of this gym. He wasn't just a manager; he was a friend. He was a mentor, and you know, he'd done a lot for the gym. And so Brad, you know, he's on course. You know, obviously. Frankie Gavin's the British and Commonwealth, and we're hoping he relinquish it. I know he said he won't, but then we're in no hurry to step in. He is the WBA Intercontinental Champion, and there are other belts to go for. And at the end of the day, like everyone, he wants rankings. So, you know, there's enough good kids out there to move along. There's some good kids with some better rankings that you might just have to wait your time. You know, he's 26 years old. He's only had 17 fights, and he's had 6 title fights. So that's quite a lot, really.
Also coming through on the Box Nation cards I've seen recently, Lewis Petit getting his chance to shine, kind of on the undercards, kind of doing what Bradley Skeet was doing maybe a year and a half ago. Yeah. How do you think he's progressing? Yeah,
I think under both of us. I think Lewis is probably the most maturest kid mentally in there, and we made a mistake by putting him in with Ian Bailey too early. He was seasoned, tough, give Colframpton a good workout, and you know he was winning and he lost in the 9th round. So he rebuilt himself like what John's got to do. But Lewis is everything mentally tough. You know, we give him a couple of hard international opponents, and then we matched him hard. Now he's with Box Nation and under Andy and Frank, and you know he got a tough Brazilian with a percentage of 88% knockout ratio, and Lou boxed incredible that night, and probably for me was the star of the show. So you know, and he's dedicated, and you know he's going to take his career as far as he can, and 1 step at a time.
Do you think that kind of losing that Southern area shot to Ian Bailey will be the making of Lewis in certain ways?
Yes and no. I mean, you can lose early on and it can destroy a kid, or it can make someone. You know, if I could go back, I wouldn't have made it. It was too early, you know, and but we did, and we rebuilt on it. But Lewis lost a lot as an amateur early on, and then was a good senior and a good youth. You know, boxed for England, won the Junior ABA a couple of times, 4 Nations and things like that. So he was used to losing like Gary Walkham was early on, and you know, he just rebuilt it. You know, he's been back in the gym. You've seen him today. It's his first day back in. He's had an hand injury, and you know, I just think he'll take his stage of his career bit by bit.
Eddie, I could bring you in, mate. Yeah. I want to talk a little bit about one of the fighters I think has improved dramatically, and probably someone that's gone under the radar a little bit. Lloyd Ellett, the lightning bolt. Talk to me a little bit about Lloyd.
Oh yeah, we all have a lot of time for Lloyd because he travels down here 4 or 5 times a week from Brighton, and you know he sacrifices a lot. He's 15 unbeaten, and he was a good amateur. Boxed for England.
He boxed Bradley Skeet as an amateur.
He gave him a hard time, Brad will tell you. And
such a nice kid, Lloyd, as well, isn't he?
Genuinely
nice.
Nicest ever guy. Yeah. And I think it's surprised a few people in the coming years.
I remember former British champion Scott Welsh telling me early on in Lloyd's career, this kid is something special. He works so hard, he trains, he's so dedicated, and he will do something in the sport. You know?
I think the problem today is that if you look back over the last 7 years, is that you would have 20 fights, 18 fights before you had a title fight. Now it's been done in 9 and 10 fights. So a lot of people think it's the fashion to move and have a title fight in 9 and 10 fights. Lloyd's been with us maybe for these last 6 fights, and it looks like he's improved. Not that you know his old training team was a good team, but he's now under a gym that everyone's thriving to be #1 in the gym, and they're all competing against each other. We've managed to travel. He's been sparring loads with Freddie Turner, and been going over on his own. He's off to Italy Thursday to spar the light middleweight European champion.
Spain.
Oh, is it Spain? Oh, it's Spain.
Good job on me.
You have to get a boat over.
Good job on me.
So you know, he's getting his experience that way. So he's had 15-0, and I think really that the light middleweight division is hard at the moment in the southern area. You've got Gary Kokora, and I think it's going to be a major force for anyone. You've got Freddie Turner, who's probably, like Brad, the nicest kid and really skillful. So we're not in a rush. He sells so many tickets. I think we've got an intercontinental title set up for him in Brighton. He sells 500 tickets. And if he gets to 21-0 and he hasn't boxed for a major title, I'm not in a rush with him.
Did you have a look at Freddie Turner versus Chris Adjadua?
Yeah, you know, I'm a fan of Fred. Firstly, I think he's, outside this gym, the nicest guy in boxing. You know, outside our gym, he's probably one of the kids that I really, really like. I think he's polite, he's got heart, he's charismatic, you know, and he's a clever southpaw. You know, he also boxed brothers and amateurs. I know they're ever so close. I think he's a good kid.
Let's talk about one of the hottest prospects in the gym at the moment, and someone, in my opinion, looks to be kind of the real deal. Brett Beaton. What do you make of him? Firstly, I'll start with you, Ed, because man like Fagan loves a chat. Let's bring you in. Right?
Brett Beaton, southpaw, 6'1", see how?
Yeah, 6'1".
Southpaw, and an aggressive southpaw as well.
It's a street kid, isn't he?
Yeah, kid from the streets. He can fight. Sometimes you just have to calm him down. He sometimes likes too much of a fight, and you should stick to his boxing a bit more and use the advantages he has. Yeah. A long southpaw jab, but he loves to tear up, and sometimes it ain't a bad thing. You know, he's got something you can't teach. He's got, I think, an anger inside him.
Yeah, that's right. Comes from inner city Croydon, so I'd be angry as well.
You would know that.
I'd be angry as well. How good can he be, in your opinion?
Do you know what Brett Beaton is? When he was first heard about him, I'd never really seen him as an amateur, and I know that Adam Booth and his team were really interested in him and took him under their wing. He was a little bit too young then. He just lost in the AB finals to Sam Maxwell, who was a great kid, you know, obviously gone on to do great things, and he was just young, and I think he was too young, and we heard about him, went over and seen him. I wasn't over keen on him. I thought, well, you know, he don't look as good as everyone said he was, and, you know, Lewis and everyone said, no, he was great. And then he come to us a little while later, and then obviously matured. I think he could go as far as he wants to go. You know, I think he's got everything. He fights like Corrales. He fights on the inside. He's got great defence, but he's young. You know, he's had a little bit of a tough time lately, but he's corrected himself. He trains hard. We're tough on him in here. He's only 21 years old, but you know, he has to learn that boxing's just not about boxing. It's about what you do outside, and I think he's learned that. And if he can take that with him, and he can learn from the rest of the guys in the gym that are all hard working. He's a postman. I think he could go as...
Well, signed by Matchroom Sport, looked to be on the cusp of doing massive things. Everyone talking about him worldwide from his fantastic amateur pedigree. Failing his British medical board, saying he had a benign cyst on his brain, unable to get a British licence. He's then had to go travelling to get... Could you explain it to me how from there? What happened?
Yeah, I mean, Winnie and Weaver picked us to train him as a team. You know, we were quite taken back. You know, he was an incredible amateur with an incredible record, 117 with I think 100 wins. You know, he beat Louis Petit in the amateurs on points. He'd been all around the world. He'd been a silver European medalist, and probably one of the most gifted kids you could ever naturally get. Great southpaw, hand speed. Comes from an incredible, lovely family. You know, and he's had it hard. But you know what? He's had to travel around the country, around the globe, boxing in America, Spain, everywhere. And he got beat on a bad decision that he should have won.
Hometown decision, wasn't it?
Yeah, really. But you know what? For him, it isn't the worst thing in the world because, you know, he knew he won. He had to box a kid of 10-0 in his own backyard, and it looked really a bad decision. But, you know, he's now been signed by a major player in America, one of the biggest promotions. I think it gets finalised this week. It's all been settled. Okay. And I think he's on one of the big cut-o bills in America.
That's
and
fantastic.
Do you know what? And we wish him all the best. So when he's here, he'll train with us. We're obviously too busy to go with him. Yeah. And he will always be a part of the team. When he comes home, we can share the gym. And I think he's in on Wednesday. But you know what? If he's managed right, he'll be a superstar.
I can remember coming down the gym, talking to you about him, and seeing him, watching him spar, and the general excitement in your face and voice talking about him. It's a sad thing that he's not here full time, but we wish him the best with what he's doing, and he's dealing with what life's thrown at him. So
yeah, do you know what? These things happen. There's a lot of fighters in different states in America that have the same thing, and can't box in their own state enough to box elsewhere. You know, his medical team seems to think it's completely fine to box. We've read the reports. We think it's fine, but the board, obviously got his health issues, at their interest, and they're doing what they think's right, and you've got to give them credit for that. So these things happen, and it could be his blessing that he can't fight here, and he becomes a major star in the United States.
I sincerely hope so. And Ian, if you're watching this, we wish you the best of luck at IFL, mate. All right, lads. Well, listen, I appreciate you giving me a bit of time today. So I can't believe Al Smith's actually given us an interview. It's usually Eddie's forced to talk, you know what I mean? But
well, he's ain't got to do the cleaning. I've now got to finish it at 1:15.
Listen, all jokes aside, thanks for having me down. And I'm going to take you up on your offer tomorrow.
Yeah, we're going to take you for dinner with the whole team. With the whole team go for dinner before the hard training camp starts for the new season. So we'll all have a meal together, the whole team together.
We'll get a few videos on the firm as well.
Yeah, but there'll be no alcohol except for him who's got a drink problem.
I won't tell no one, Ed. Thanks for giving me a bit of time, lads, and I'll catch you again real soon.
All right. Thanks, James.
You, mate.
Thank you.